YouTube, how we doing? PPS back. We're doing some bracket matches today. Coming at you guys for some college plays, maybe some college player props. We'll take a look, but obviously wanted to break down some action with you guys. Obviously, the tournament officially, in my opinion, starts tomorrow. Obviously, you got your first four, but I'm really excited to break these down. Joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, man?
I'm doing great. I mean, it's March Madness. I got my West Virginia on. I can kind of represent a team that is in the tournament out here. Also got some Michigan State family as well. So I've got some, personal interest. I've definitely got some financial interest. I already have a bunch of bets in. And honestly, March is kind of the time where it feels like you can look at that DraftKings account or that FanDuel account and be like, holy shit, do I really have 23 bets already? And, it's only Thursday. So plenty of time left to still get bets in. I'm super excited. I'm glad to hear what you have to say. I know you have a couple of videos out. I haven't checked them out yet because I kind of wanted to get caught off by surprise. I don't want to know what you're on. I kind of want you to tell me why I'm dumb a couple times and maybe, talk about that. But definitely going to check out those videos. Just pumped overall for it to be March.
Yeah, it's about that time. So it's just there's so much action. Just make sure you guys, obviously, you're going to see a lot of content out from a lot of different people. Make sure you do your own due diligence on them as well, or else you're going to be just throwing about Did I lose you there?
Sorry. Yeah, I think so. Sorry about that. We're back. I just heard the due diligence part, and I completely agree with that. I mean, hey, I'm out here making bets, and I'm being completely honest, right? You guys know he's the guy that's been doing this every fucking week of the season. I'm just coming in at the end and having some fun. So 100%, you're going to see a lot of people make the switch, but unfortunately, most people won't be as upfront about it, right? Everyone's going to pretend that they've been taking notes all year on these primetime games, but they haven't actually been in the trenches. I know you've been in the trenches. Shout out Toledo yesterday, getting the job done for us. Hopefully that's just the start, right?
Yeah, no, it's a lot. It's a lot. So unfortunately, the wagon is over. They took the L last night, but they couldn't go out on a sour note. Hit the first half, hit the full game, doing what Toledo does. I thought I was going to go over 200 for a little while in that first half. It was absurd pace, and obviously we continue to get there with those guys as they just continue to just cover spread. So let's do a quick recap from our NBA stuff, and then we'll just go right into some college basketball action. I think a Kogi hit, right, for Prop Holiday? Prop Holiday had a Kogi. That one hit. Tyus didn't?
No, he did not.
And I think he got hooked, honestly. I think there was a hook there.
Yeah, but I mean, shout out Prop Holiday once again for coming on the show. We appreciate that. I know my Discord loves a Kogi too, so I was glad they could cash in. We took the L with Steph right here. Obviously, Klay Thompson, 40 points in that game, just completely took over. We did hit, though, Dylan Brooks on the other side, which is nice. I know a lot of people hate Dylan Brooks, so it's good to cash in that bet that, everyone's kind of hating on you for a little bit.
Yeah, no, it was a good day there. Luckily, Sabonis hit in the first half, so I didn't have to sweat the late night one, so I could stay up. I could go to bed a little early. Edwards, dude, I hit it, and I'm happy I hit it, but the double-double being that close was just so damn annoying, bro. Minnesota, I love you guys for sucking enough to let them back in the game, but man, dude, just – where did that come from? They don't blow anybody out, dude. Ever. They never blow people out.
NBA's been kind of crazy, too. I don't know if you were watching yesterday, too. It was blowout city. So, I don't know. It's kind of one of those unfortunate things. But, yeah, it was so close to that double-double. I got it 850 or something like that. I was sweating it pretty close. But, he gave us a good shot right there. Obviously, cashed the main ticket, which is good news.
Yeah, so where do you want to start here, Stu? Where do you want to go? What region is sticking out in your head here so we can start out and where we can pull up the screen here?
I don't know. Let's say we go to the East region, right? A decent amount of buzz over there. Why not? I mean, I don't know. I'm pretty excited just in general. Obviously, a lot of fun stuff going on. But the East does have a lot of the talk, right? Purdue is the 1 seed. They're I don't know. I've seen a lot of Twitter polls. Who's the most likely 1 seed to go down first? Purdue is like number 1 in every single one of those polls. Do you agree with that assessment right there?
Not really.
Oh,
Not
okay.
really at all. I think I understand the Memphis hype. I do. They're playing well at the right time. But I mean, yeah, they beat Houston without their best player, right, to win theirs. And would you be getting this much hype on them if they didn't win that? Right? Would they be getting this much hype? No. I mean, what is Memphis spread just against the team they're playing first round here, right? Like, what is it? I don't even know. I'm pretty sure it's pretty close.
Yeah, because I know there's some guys that are on. Oh, it's only 2?
2.
Ooh, okay. Interesting. So I'm taking obviously Purdue in the first round here. I'm sure you're not disagreeing too much. Do you think there's some legitimate upset possibility in your brackets? Are you going FAU over Memphis?
I don't know if I'm going to go that far, but I mean that should tell you a lot, though. If you're only getting 2 points on FAU,
yeah,
you're going to play against a team who's like the postseason for Purdue is usually obviously under Matt Painter not very good, right? But they usually don't do well in the Big Ten tournament either. They usually don't do well there, and now they ran through those guys. My biggest thing with Purdue is just their late game collapses. But when you have Memphis here, right? I mean, obviously you have DeAndre Williams. That's their second best player, right? DeAndre Williams can be their best player, or second best player, and he's been fantastic. But what are you gonna do? All of his shots are in the paint. What are you going to do against Edey here, dude? Like that completely almost eliminates one of your best guys. So if they get past Memphis, which in my opinion, I think they do, I think that they're going to be sitting pretty good because I don't think Duke has anywhere close to enough firepower to compete with them.
Yeah, no, I mean, for me, Memphis, I've talked to you about this before. I'm trying to really avoid the real popular, dogs in these situations. And I've seen a lot of brackets kind of taking that Memphis upset over Purdue in that next round. And like you said, with the 2-point spread, we didn't even know if they're going to make it past FAU. So I'm kind of trying to avoid that hype train. I think in my first initial bracket, I think I probably was. I think I have Memphis going to like the Elite 8 or Final 4. But the more I've thought about it, I'm kind of with you now. I kind of like that Purdue, that size, right? That Edey, if he's going in the paint, nobody's stopping him. It's just kind of about, can you contain the rest of those guys? So I took Memphis right here, but then, we'll see what happens in the next round. I don't think I'm going to be on the Memphis train that much farther.
Yeah, and I mean, 2-point spread is kind of scary, right? That's just 2-point spread with how much people are betting Memphis and how much people are talking about Memphis. It almost kind of scares me that the books are willing to take that money on Memphis. I'm pretty sure that's gonna be a very popular spot this week because people don't really watch FAU, but they're a good team. They're a good basketball team. So let's go down the board here. We have another popular dog here in Oral Roberts taking on Duke. Any thoughts on this one here first? Obviously, as like the overview look.
Yeah, for me, it's one of those situations where this one's scary because I kind of wanted to fade both teams coming into the tournament. As you know, Duke is getting a lot of hype just because they kind of got hot at the right time. They're a pretty young team, but they've got a lot of momentum coming into the tournament, at least to a certain extent, where they started the season very poorly. People were questioning what was going on with this team. Then they finally got things turned around. But also, I did kind of go through and look through some of those strength of schedule metrics. It's not like they were really beating up on good teams. Duke kind of got right against a lot of really bad teams and a lot of teams that are not in this tournament. So I'm probably going to take Duke in this first round. I know we might have a little bit of a disagreement right here, but I have a hard time seeing myself taking Duke very far beyond that. I know Oral Roberts obviously had that run in the past. It's a team people actually recognize now. They know some of the guys. I know they also have a 7'5" guy coming off the bench, right? Transfer from Arkansas. So that's kind of funny. It'll be interesting to see if he can affect the game in that kind of manner as well. I don't know. Do you have a strong take on this game?
So I do have a bet on Oral Roberts in this game. That is over on my region breakdown, because this was actually the first region I broke down. So I actually have a lot of knowledge on this one because this is the one I really did 2 days ago and went down a lot more in depth. But my bet in this game, and I have all those bets listed on the other show, or other video. I really like the Oral Roberts team total. It's sitting at 69.5. I'm sure the more fading people will bring it down to 68.5.
Mm-hmm.
But I can't get away from that number, dude. Like, Oral Roberts is just playing at such a high pace. They're obviously in a very, very weak conference, but still averaging 84 points per game in college is still pretty impressive, right? Toledo and Gonzaga, the only two teams higher than them. They shoot the ball well. They have two other guys in double figures. I know everybody thinks it's the Max Asmus show, but you're getting a lot of other guys here. And also, like the teams in March who hit free throws, 24th in the country in free throw percentage. So if we get this game down the stretch, I will take Oral Roberts shooting 77% from the line versus this Duke team any day of the week. So I think that I take the points. I don't trust their defense at all in this matchup. So I think that's the best way for me to play.
Yeah, no, I think that makes a lot of sense too. I mean, 12 versus 5 is the number one spot anybody is looking for an upset, right? That's just kind of how it is. Everyone is looking for those 12-5s. I think Oral Roberts will be a relatively popular selection with that name value, but I really don't mind taking the upset there as well. Just like it's going to be, I think, a relatively close game. Do you know what the spread is, by the way? I know you
6.
just 6. Yeah, I think that's probably a very reasonable number. So I don't mind taking Oral Roberts to move through this round as well right here because, to be honest, this Duke love is kind of getting crazy. I'm seeing it all over Twitter. And when you kind of look back on it, I just wasn't really buying the hype as much as maybe some other people around here.
Yeah, no, and that's understandable. They're playing pretty poor teams in the Summit. It was a weaker conference this year for sure. So I do like the 6, but I don't know if I would take a money line. I probably will in my brackets just to be a little bit different. But
yeah, that makes sense. And we're looking at this next game right here, Tennessee, Louisiana. From everything I'm seeing, man, Tennessee has got an absolutely amazing defense and no offense whatsoever. What do you do with those kind of teams that are like that are like so strong on one end of the ball, but then really don't have much for you on the other end of the ball?
See, I think that's kind of like a misconception here for Tennessee. And I mean, I understand it. Like, they're not putting up like gaudy numbers, but there's some pretty good defenses in the SEC. And I mean, they're still averaging 72 points per game. And I think that this like stigma here is coming because Louisiana is just a run and gun, absolute firepower in their conference, right? I mean, Louisiana's 27th in the country in points per game, top 20 in 2-point, top 30 in 3-point, right? I mean, they're very, very good. But when it comes to March, I like the teams that slow down the pace. I like the teams that are able to slow you down and win in multiple different ways. And Tennessee, right? You look at their defense, like the numbers are unbelievable, right? Number 1 in 2-point field goal percentage against, number 1 in 3-point field goal percentage against. That's something you don't really see very often. Usually you're very good at one and not the other, but these guys are just an all-around defensive juggernaut, and I could not back Louisiana over them. I get it. There's a lot of people that probably will just because they're going to look at the offensive numbers of Louisiana, but man, you're playing a different type of sides. You're playing a different type of physical matchup here in Tennessee that I can't even come close to endorsing that.
Yeah, I've taken Tennessee in every single one of my brackets right here. I haven't even really looked at Louisiana. So it's one of those spots where, it is what it is. But when you have that strong of a unit on one side of the ball, I'll just take that in round 1.
Perfect. This next game, I really haven't looked. I don't love either side. You almost have to go Kentucky, right?
For me, man, I feel like I pick Providence every fucking year. I feel like I open up my bracket, I do some Googling, and I'm like, okay, Providence can pull an upset. And I feel like I never once have remembered that actually working out for me. Like, not once. So, like I said, same kind of thing. I'm auto-taking Kentucky right here. If it burns me, it burns me. But at this, you got the coaching, the coaching, I don't want to say mismatch, but at least, spotlight, right? Everybody knows Kentucky. So I'm just going to move through Kentucky right here and not sweat it too much at all.
Sounds good. This one I want to talk about. What is your thought on this one, Stu?
Well, I figured you just automatically have picked Montana State because that seems like a team that you would know a lot about. I don't know, man. I've read some good things about Kansas State. I'm kind of troubled by the bottom of the bracket right here. I have been picking Kansas State. I've not been taking a Montana State upset right here. But if you can talk me into liking Montana State, I would love that because I have no clue what to do at the bottom of this bracket. And, hey, my Michigan State might be going pretty far in my bracket. So, yeah, who knows?
All right. The shitty part is I really like Montana State. I love them. I think they're a fantastic team. I love their defense. I love how they can play slow. But if this is a shitty matchup for Kansas State, but I love Kansas State. I love this roster. I love how they're constructed. And it's really, really tough for me to back Montana State here because I think Kansas State is the sleeper of this side of the bracket. I really, really like this team. I like that they actually have an ability to score everywhere, right? You have Marquise Noel, who's fantastic. You have Keontae Johnson, Florida transfer, who's fantastic. Both of them over 16 points a game. I can't remember their center's name because I don't have it up in front of me right now. But 6'10", ability to score. He's the third leading scorer on this team. So you have a team here who is able to score at all three levels. You have a guard who can score in the paint. You have Keontae Johnson, who still shoots over 35% from three, right? You have a lot of different scoring opportunities on the Kansas State side. And I get it. They played really shitty down the stretch, and that's going to probably deter people away. But man, dude, how do we expect Montana State to score here, right? They're top 40 in the country in 2-point, right? Kansas State's top 100 in defense there, and they're playing obviously Big 12 schools, right? You're playing Kansas, you're playing some pretty good teams. But this is the difference maker here is Montana State as a team shoots 33% from three. Kansas State is 13th in the country on defense. They're under 30% allowed. So you're not shooting from the outside on these guys, right? And you're not offensive rebounding on these guys. Kansas State is one of the better defensive rebounding teams. So you need to be efficient in the mid-range. I'd take a team that's able to hit the three-point shot like Kansas State is. I'd take a team that shoots in the top 100 in free throw percentage like Kansas State is. And I really, 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 really wish that I didn't have to do it, but because I really love the Big Sky Conference. Eastern Washington made me more money, plus 11 last night. And I just really like the length. I really like the ability to shoot. And Kansas State is my sleeper of this bracket. I'm going to be all over them.
Okay, that's good with me. I've been picking Kansas State as well right here. I'm very interested that you're definitely loving them, and I'm sad Montana State couldn't have got a better draw right here. I want to pick the Montana States of the world, but
Bobcats, baby.
Yeah, unfortunately, it looks like their road may end here. So I kind of spoiled it a little bit. I already have been taking Michigan State in all my brackets. Only a 2-point spread in this game. I bet Michigan State -2. I did see it's like the second most popular bet over on MGM. Not that I actually care about those kind of spreads over there, but I did see that Michigan State is clearly the more popular side. Kind of looks like a classic example of a good offense versus a good defense. Do you have a strong take on this game?
And which side are you referring to as the good offense here?
Well, I've been reading Michigan State's got a pretty good offense. I've been reading USC's got a pretty good defense. Am I incorrect here?
Michigan State's offense, I think, in my opinion, is kind of cheeks, to be honest. I don't think they're good offense at all. I do think it's enough to get past USC. I don't mind them there, but Michigan State's offense is not good. I've watched enough of this team. Just their last game, right? That last game where they just got dismantled by Ohio State without Sensabaugh. That is absolutely something you cannot have happen. The Izzo effect, I don't even think is even a thing anymore, right? Everybody's bringing up at March, blah, blah, blah. My God, dude, you don't get 20 balled by a team that doesn't have their best player, and you're letting freshmen just go up and down the court on them. Like, USC is kind of nice, and I really, really had a hard time picking Michigan State in this one, but I think it's just my Big Ten bias. I have absolutely no bet on this. I will not be touching this game. Drew Peterson is still nice out there. They still got Boogie Ellis on that USC side. So, man, dude, I would list it as a pick 'em. I don't even think Michigan State's worth the 2 points.
I'll just say number 4 team in the nation, 3-point shooting, number 30 in free throw shooting. I know you're a big free throw shooting guy. Tom Izzo's obviously got those boys knocking down the free throws. They've got the Hauser, got a brother up in the NBA already. I believe they're related. I would hope there's not too many Hausers.
Yeah, they're from 30 minutes from my hometown, so I know the Hausers. I'm familiar with their work.
Oh yeah, he might be getting a bet. He might be getting a bet, shooting over 40% from 3 on the season. But like you said too, the thing is maybe Michigan State doesn't have that explosive kind of leader, but they've got a bunch of guys that can give you 10 to 15. You know what I mean? And I like that consistency, especially if USC is a strong defensive team. So Michigan State's already got my money. They've already got my pick. It seems like you're not quite as enthusiastic, but that's life. We can keep it moving right here to this next Marquette Vermont game. I watched the Vermont championship game that they played in. I wasn't super impressed, to be completely honest. Seems like they shoot a lot of threes. They have one guy who took 3 years off, apparently, and then came back. So if you want to play a drinking game, I would take a shot every time they mentioned that. They mentioned it about 4 times in like the 20 minutes I was watching last time. So I bet they'll mention that a lot. But I'm just taking Marquette here. I'm not really thinking too much about it. Vermont didn't wow me enough to make me want to do anything crazy right here.
Yeah, no, I think you have to put them through. I wouldn't take the spread. I think Vermont finds a way to keep it close. Marquette, another team that kind of has those collapses. But let me kind of rebuttal your Michigan State. You hyped up Michigan State to end it here. I'm going to rebuttal it back.
Okay.
So if I'm looking at Michigan State, right, what happens because you're in a neutral site, right? You're not at home, right? Make sure you look at those numbers, home road splits for threes. It's a huge difference. Obviously, I'm assuming this one's more like a road game, right? It's a little bit more of a road game. It's not in their arena. But what happens if those threes don't fall? USC is elite in the paint. They're elite in the paint, top 10 in 2-point field goal percentage. Defense, right? You have guys that I trust to score a bucket. Drew Peterson can hit threes. You got Boogie Ellis who can do both, right? I mean, it's just tough because they're, in my opinion, they're the exact same. Like I would have probably liked a different matchup for both sides because I liked backing USC in those late night games. I really liked USC, but I can't believe that Michigan State's even favored. It should be a pick 'em, straight pick 'em, in my opinion. Like this is as even as I could possibly make a bet, as even as I could make a team.
So is the whole 2 points just the fact that everybody knows Izzo and everybody knows Michigan State? Is that pretty much why it's 2 points? Just solely kind of that pretty name value? Gotcha.
Everybody just wants to push Izzo in March, dude. It's just like I don't know why, but I get it, but it's like, dude, you can't allow that to happen in March to a freshman and their best player ain't playing. Right? That's like that's Sensible Ball is that big to their team. That's like playing Purdue without Edey. That's how important that dude is to their team. And you get 20 ball. Like the whole game. Obviously, it looked a little better at the end, obviously, because they made a little comeback. But it was by no means a game. Like there was absolutely zero chance that they won that game.
Yeah, no, I was watching. I remember you had to pass the prop mention bet on that one right there, and yeah, it was not a pretty one. It was not a pretty one, but hopefully Izzo's got the boys running laps in practice. Got to get him going for this matchup right here. We'll see what happens. I gotta trust him. Okay, let's see, 25 straight years for Izzo getting to the tourney is pushing the script. Yeah, maybe we get a couple of good foul calls at the end of the game. Who knows what happens?
Yeah, I'm a Big Ten truther too, and I still couldn't even back it with you. So if that tells you anything on there, sorry, my dog's like underneath my chair at the moment. I don't know what the hell's going on down here. So, all right, let's move on. Let's move on to another region here. Where do you want to go next?
Yeah, we can just go straight up right here. I'm good with this. I'm good with it. Obviously, this is, or I guess you can kick us off if you want. I was going to say I'm just taking Alabama in the first game, not thinking too much about it. So unless you were wowed by Corpus Christi yesterday.
No, I'm just happy they for all the people I saw on Twitter who just hammered Corpus Christi. I'm like, bro, why are you doing that? Why are you doing that? I took the 4.5 on SEMO. Nice little cash there. I didn't even think I'd have to sweat, but all of a sudden it gets to 4 and they made me sweat a little bit. So thank you, SEMO, for covering again. You guys were fantastic to me down the stretch.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, I tailed you on that spot there as well. I think I bought up a point to 5 too, just because I was a little worried. I saw some free throw shooting numbers that scared me with Corpus Christi. Apparently, they were knocking him down. But yeah, it's probably coming to an end. Everyone watched Alabama kind of run through that tournament. I don't think there's a lot of hope right here. This next game will be pretty interesting. I've already kind of made my allegiance is pretty clear right here from everything I know. Maryland is awful on the road too. Every single good thing they've done this season has been at home. And I got to just trust West Virginia to get after it like they always do. So I took West Virginia in this matchup. Definitely not going to hide the bias right there. But the road record for Maryland was enough for me to just be like, yeah, I'm good with West Virginia.
Yeah, I don't really have a take on this one. I kind of lean Maryland just because their defense has been really good this year, even on the road, right? Obviously, they just couldn't score, right? They just couldn't score. And if West Virginia is going to continue to try to push pace on these guys, I've watched a lot of Maryland games, and none of them are fast. They're going to try to make you play a half-court game. It's going to come down to, can you execute in the half-court? If you can, you'll win. If you can't, you're not going to come close to these guys because they're still – 63 points allowed per game, which is obviously very, very good. Obviously, you're playing a lot of Big Ten teams who want to play that same type of style. So I think, obviously, this might be a live betting spot. If you're trying to bet it, I would definitely see how the pace is going right away because if it's starting to slow down, I would definitely be leaning the Maryland side.
That's fair. Yeah, that's very fair. I mean, I feel like, I don't know about you, don't all these 8-9 matchups feel really close? I don't know. That's just my take. They all feel like almost like, I guess they're supposed to be almost pick'ems. But yeah, I don't think you can go wrong. It's kind of tough too when you feel like they might be getting sacrificed in the next round as well to Alabama.
Yeah, I want to make sure I get rid of some of these on the thing here because I think you're on Charleston, aren't you?
No, absolutely not. San Diego State is good on really good defensive team, right? That's all I know about them. Very good defensive team. I like to pick underdogs, not in those games. I don't like to go against the really good defensive teams. I know they're a deep team. They've depth off the bench. I'm not taking Charleston. I don't care. I don't know anything about Charleston. And I know that San Diego State is good on defense. So that's my easy pick right here.
Oh man. I mean, I'm taking San Diego State, don't get me wrong, but to say you don't know nothing about Charleston really hurts me deep in my core. I love those guys. They're a wagon of mine in their own conference. They've been fantastic to me. I'm sure some guys in here who are in the chat with us who are in my chat, dude, they've been fantastic to me. And they just run and gun. They play a really fast style of basketball. I really like San Diego State, though. I liked how they could slow the game down, and they've done it against teams like they're beating teams like New Mexico, right? And that's a team that I thought that's my wagon team, right? They've been great, but it's just I don't want to. It almost hurts me to pick them to lose because it just hurts because they made me so much money this year. But got to bet with my heart or bet with my head, not my heart here. So I'm gonna go San Diego State, but. Fantastic season to Charleston. I'm actually really curious on the total here at a 140. You do not see a Charleston game that low.
Yeah, no, I guess that's probably leaning more towards the other side on that one. Yeah, I don't know. I'm definitely intrigued to watch that game. I like to see how these kind of smaller teams adjust, The only one more thing, though, isn't Charleston not a good 3-point shooting team particularly? Like, right when you kind of hear about these kind of teams, don't you expect them to be chucking threes? But I remember looking at the stats, and they weren't really, jumping off the page.
No, they use pace as their weapon, dude, and a lot of teams can't keep up with them. By the middle of the second half is usually when you just start seeing Charleston pull away from teams because a lot of these teams in their conferences don't have the depth to be able to run like that, right? And Charleston can run 7 deep of guys that they really do trust, right? That they're going to run like 28 to 30 minutes. So, yeah, I think that's definitely a thing to bring up, and it's going to be really hard to shoot on San Diego State anyway. Just the length. They've had Matt Bradley there for, I swear, 17 years. I don't remember another guy being there that long since Aaron Kraft at Ohio State. And it's wild to me. So one other thing Charleston is really good at, and you're not going to be able to offensive rebound on San Diego State. They're one of the best defensive rebounding teams. So I know that Charleston was like top 10 in the country in offensive rebounds. They just run and gun, go to the ball, chickens with their head cut off the whole time they're out there. So do like San Diego State because they're really good at all the things that Charleston's really good at on offense.
Okay, well, I'm glad we're kind of on the same page right here. This one, I know this is a really talked about game right here. Virginia and Furman. Obviously, Virginia losing one of their best players for the tournament. A lot of people remember that huge upset. It's not been too long. It's pretty recent in people's head. Do you think there's another upset possibility right here? Because it sounds like the public is kind of agreeing a little bit.
With the other part of it?
Sorry, you cut out for me. Say that again.
So you like people are leaning with the Furman side?
I've been seeing some Furman picks for sure. I only really read like people I respect though. Like I'm only reading like FTN and Sports Illustrated kind of stuff like that. But I've been seeing some Furman love. So I'm definitely I feel like you might have a Furman take here as well. I'm kind of curious.
Yeah, dude. I love the Southern Conference. I feel like that is not something that you guys are just hearing now. I bet on the Southern Conference a ton. Obviously that's where Furman is coming out of. I like Furman. I really do. I think that injury to Virginia is definitely going to cause a lot of issues. But what I also like here is two dudes, Slauson, Bothwell, baby. I absolutely love them both. Both of them are absolutely fantastic scorers. This is a matchup of Furman's offense versus Virginia's defense, right? And I think that this is definitely going to be a fun matchup, right? Because, I mean, if you just go down the board of what Furman is really good at, Virginia's defense is very good at. And that's something I talked about earlier in a way that I want to back the favorite. But Furman has just been so good all year. I mean, they're playing games fast. They can slow it down if they need to. They're so efficient. It's crazy. I can't get away from Furman. I think I have to back them. And one thing also that's kind of scaring me away from it on the money line portion is Virginia, I swear, has been the biggest upset team, right? Everybody's talking about them getting upset, right? But the spread keeps moving up, right? It's at 5.5 now. It went down to 5 and immediately got bet back up to 5.5. So I don't think books are as afraid of that, right? Of the Furman side, thinking that obviously Virginia's going to be there. But Furman is a top 50. I think they're 33rd in the country on Ken Palm adjusted offense ranking. And it's really because Bothwell and Slauson are just that good, long, athletic wings who can score the basketball. And I think that's something that you need in March, and you need those older players to make those big plays. And, I ain't trusting Kihei Clark. Get the hell out of here.
Hey, I'm with you. I'm good taking the Furman upset right here. I think obviously it feels like kind of a sharper, upset. I feel like I've heard a lot of smart people on it, and it just doesn't seem like the Virginia love is there. So I'm good with that. And this next game right here too, Creighton versus NC State. Okay, let's be completely honest. I don't think I've heard a single person pick NC State. I feel like everyone's putting Creighton through. I'm hearing obviously they have some name value. Kalkbrenner, Nemhard. They've got some guys that people, even us casuals, recognize from Twitter. It seems like there's a lot of Creighton love. A lot of people are saying they're maybe better than a 6 seed. Are you on the same page right here? Do you think they move on round one?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I'm all over Creighton. I like NC State's overs. Their defense is horrendous. And I always like to back it just because they just run so fast, dude. It's really hard for me to back a team like that, though, in the tournament, right? I mean, they're 89th in adjusted tempo, and it says they're ranked top 100 Ken Palm defensive ranking. That does not sit well with me. I don't know how that's there. I guess maybe just because they're playing a couple of those really shitty ACC teams a couple times a year too. So maybe that helps, but I can't take them. I can't really trust that side. But I think it's just also a better fact of me liking Creighton as well. I mean, I don't think NC State has any sort of size to match up with Kalkbrenner, and he's been playing really, really, really well. But I mean, my biggest portion of this is Creighton is already just not a great 3-point shooting team. They're 35.8%, right? That's not bad. I think it's like 100th in the country. So it's not like a deficiency, but it's not like what they rely on. They're top 50 in terms of 2-point percentage. And where does NC State get destroyed? In the paint. and they're the bottom 100 in 2-point defense. So Kalkbrenner should have an absolute field day on these dudes, and I just can't get away from taking Creighton here.
Okay, I like that. I like we got some agreement going on right here. We'll see if we can keep that going. We got Baylor and UC Santa Barbara. What they're like the Grouchos or something like that? That's
Gauchos.
That's an elite mascot right here. I know nothing about either of these teams, so you're gonna have to give some good analysis right here. I took UC Santa Barbara in the bracket I did this morning just because I haven't really heard a single person talk about UC Santa Barbara. So I was like, yeah, fuck it, I'll take them against Baylor. Baylor, I know
I've actually seen a lot of people talk about Santa Barbara. I saw them. A lot of people are on the plus 10.5, plus 11.5. So I've been seeing that pretty popular from a lot of college basketball guys that I follow. So I don't hate it. I just, in the tournament, I want teams that are more experienced a little bit there. And I just think this is too big of a talent differential. But I do think it stays close. But I definitely don't like Baylor to make one of those deep runs that we've seen before.
Gotcha. And then next up, Missouri, Utah State, obviously a fun one to talk about right here. Utah State is a team that I've been hearing the offense has really been hyped up right here. It sounds like this game is just going to be like all offense, right? We're going to have pace. It's going to be a fun game to watch. So maybe a big screen game like we like to say it. I've been taking Utah State. I think you're on the same side. Am I right here?
Oh, yeah. I'm on Utah State. That's on my, because these are the two sections that I've gone through game by game, and I picked this team. I love Utah State. They're my best bet from the first round in this region. So I think the 2 points is warranted. They are just so good at what they do, and in this portion, I've seen way too many Missouri games where they just get out of whack. And they start falling behind. They start chucking threes. Well, hey, guess who wants to chuck threes? Probably Utah State.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. They're just going to absolutely just go all out on this one. I have a little bit more data on the other video, but I'm on Utah State.
Sounds good. All right. I think we're both moving Utah State through right here. And then I don't really think I don't think there needs to be much talk. Arizona's, at least for me, a pretty easy click right here. Obviously coming in with some good performances in the tournament. I don't know anything about Princeton. I'm going to assume that they're not a scary team. Maybe you're going to disagree right here, but I'm taking Arizona.
Yeah, it was a big upset for Princeton to beat Yale. I actually didn't mind Yale. Yale versus Arizona would have been fun. Mm-hmm. But Princeton's going to obviously try to slow down Arizona, and that's not going to happen. They're going to try and slow the pace down. You can't do that. Arizona's too fast, too elite offensively. But yeah, they're my pick out of that side.
Sounds good. All right. I like it. Now we're going to the Midwest. I did do an article on Houston, Northern Kentucky. If you want to take a guess, I did take Houston to win that game. I don't think that should be surprising anybody. The biggest thing is obviously the injury news, right? With Sasser, we don't know 100% how healthy he is. Groin injury is a little tricky to play around. Do you think he might be limited in this game? I'm not going to bet the spread. I did take a little bit on the first half under right here, but overall, I don't think there's much of an upset or anything like that in the book. So Houston, pretty easy.
No, I'm on Houston's fine. Northern Kentucky shouldn't have even won that league, to be honest.
Oh, okay. Well, I don't even know what league they play in, so I can't give you any good analysis.
That's tough, dude. That's tough. Horizon League.
Oh, Horizon League. There you go. Good for Northern Kentucky. Glad they made it through. It does seem like it's going to be a good old-fashioned beatdown right here. You have any thoughts on a little bit of a better game right here? Iowa versus Auburn, 8 versus 9.
I took Iowa. I think it might just be a little bit Big Ten bias. But I've seen way too many games, again, where Auburn is so high with the highs, low with the lows, and Iowa's going to do exactly what Auburn wants to do. So I think it's going to be a fun game. I just don't know. I think if I'm getting the 1.5 on Iowa, I'll take the plus money on them to win. But yeah, I think that it's tough to mess around with Iowa here with their pace. But their defense is just so horrendous, dude. It's so bad.
Yeah, for me, I took in this game, I was having a tough time, honestly. I think I took Auburn in one and Iowa in another, kind of split. I did make a bet on Iowa's team total, and this one over 75.5. I know that obviously is high, but you kind of mentioned that defense. They rank 302nd in points allowed per game and 349th in opponent field goal possession. Obviously just not, a great defense whatsoever. You've mentioned free throw shooting. Hawkeyes are a great free throw shooting team as well. I believe they attempt the 60th most in the nation, and Auburn is giving up their 338th in the nation in fouls. They're fouling a lot of people, and Iowa's going to get to the free throw line and make them terrible defense. I like the Iowa team total in this one. Don't have a strong take. I think it'll be a close game, but I'm fine with moving Iowa through right here.
Yeah, I mean, I also talked about how bad Iowa's defense is, but they're terrible against the three-point ball, right? They're like, I think, bottom 30. Mm-hmm. As a team, Auburn shoots 29%. That's bottom 30 on offense, right? I mean, that's terrible. I mean, you go 2-point, right? Iowa's terrible against the 2-point shot, right? 349 in that. We're looking at only a 44% from two for Auburn, right? It's not like they're efficient offensively. They rely on that defense, and that's what Iowa's going to rely on too. So it's like, pick your poison here. Both Iowa defense and Auburn's offense are not good, but Iowa's offense is very good. Auburn's defense is very good. Which one do you think is going to have the better advantage there? So that's pretty much what this is.
Yeah, the other thing too, Iowa's, I believe, 16th best in the nation in turnovers. They're not turning the ball over too much as well. That's a nice little turnovers, free throw shooting. That's kind of the deciding factor right there. That's enough for me to push them through. And then Miami Drake right here. This is a popular game. A lot of people are talking about it. I didn't realize that. I kind of thought Miami. I've heard that I've been betting on Wong a couple times this season. I know him. I figured Miami was going to be kind of an easier put through, but I'm seeing a lot of Drake love. Do you have a strong take on this one? Because I don't know where to go. I kind of need someone to give me some direction right here.
I like Drake as a team. I really do. I really, really like them, but I can't put them past Miami. I can't. If Wong was not there, maybe something would be different, but I'm not betting them just because of him. I'm betting them because the experience, right? Miami made a little bit of a run while Wong was there already. Their coach, right, has good experience in this tournament as well. I like Drake. Drake has some dudes, man. Drake has some dudes, but it's so tough for me to back them there. It's only a 1.5 point spread as well. And just continues to get back to move further and further down. Again, Drake's defense is phenomenal, right? They're top 100 in pretty much everything. But we look over here, right? Miami, 80 points a game, top 20 in 2-point percentage shooting, top 50 in 3-point percentage shooting. They're 10th in the country in free throw percentage, right? And I get it. Drake is playing very well. I loved how they looked in the tournament. But I just think that if I'm going to take it, I'm going to take the experience. I'm going to take a team who's been there. And I like Drake. They're an old team. They got everything going for them here. But I'm gonna side with the lowly favorite here that nobody wants to touch.
Okay, I'm good with that. I've been taking Miami also. I mean, I believe we talked after last show, and the spread in this game is like 2 points, right? Or something.
1.5 now.
Oh, wow. 1.5 for a game. 5 versus 12 is kind of crazy. That definitely shows you where the public is. I'm trying to avoid the public 5 versus 12 upset, so I'm good. I'm good with Miami as well. Moving on right here. We also do have a question from Blackbeard in the chat. Going back to what we were talking about earlier, Utah State, Mizzou. Are you liking the over in that matchup?
I don't even know what it's at right now. Honestly, I just took a money line and then just kind of forgot about the game. Because I don't want to be like reliant on one game to make my day. Just because of how crazy some of these games are. But 155.5. I mean, I love it. I love it if it's a regular season game, but I feel like they're gonna try and slow it down a little bit more. I don't have a take. I would just pass. I already have money on it.
Okay. I mean, 155 obviously sounds like an adjusted number, right? It's not like we're catching them off guard, but I would lean the over. Maybe I'm curious what the Utah State team total is on that one. Maybe go on that side, but yeah, no, I like that spot right here. Okay, so I guess we decided we're both good with Miami right here. Indiana, Kent State. This one is being talked about a lot. Indiana, I don't know if it's just my Twitter feed, if there's a lot of Indiana fans. I know Trace Jackson Davis is a name that a lot of people are familiar with that have just been betting or watching college basketball. But this is this is an upset I've been seeing taken a lot. Are you on the upset train, or
I want to hear your thoughts, Stu. Give me your thoughts here.
You want to be completely honest right here? I'm gonna go Indiana. I'm gonna go Indiana, and I might even go Indiana again, another round, because the fact that I don't know if it was just watching in the tournament where everyone was shitting all over them. But I like a team like Indiana that has a big man that can score right here. I'm not sure if maybe you'll be able to tell me if Kent State can negate that. I have a hard time believing that they match up with a lot of guys like Trace Jackson Davis in their conference. I'm going to take Indiana. It seems like the public is just real low on them right now, and I don't know. I'm gonna take them to move on right here.
Yeah, I'm on the other side of that, actually. That's my favorite upset of this side. I really like Kent State. And the thing that's cool for me is, you know how much MAC basketball I watch. I've been on Buffalo. Toledo obviously is in this conference. Toledo was the 1 seed. And when you play a team like Indiana, right, you have to be able to play that half-court basketball. And Kent State wants to play that. They do not want to run, right? They want you to play that way. That's where they excel, right? They're top 40 adjusted defense in the country, right? If you go on the KenPom rankings there, obviously that's very good. But Indiana is going to obviously want to slow down Sincere Carey. Sincere Carey is phenomenal guard for Kent State, almost 18 a game, 5 assists. I think that definitely is going to be an issue, is the size. I know they have a guy who's 6'8", 215, kind of that same-ish build as Trace Jackson Davis. I think he'll be able to stay with him for a little bit. But, I mean, a lot of the bigs in the MAC, whether you go to, like, Buffalo, they got some dudes who can push you around a little bit, right? I mean, if you want to take a look at somebody in the MAC who plays like that, how about go look at Miami of Ohio? They're playing a guy that should be playing left tackle.
I saw that.
They have to match up with that, right? And he's averaging 15 a game, and he can shoot threes, right? Trace Jackson Davis can't even shoot threes, right? That guy's big. So you have to send a double, right? And if you're going to send a double, I need you to be able to hit your outside shots, right? They've been hitting them this year. But Kent State, man, they can guard the three-point line, right? They can guard the three-point line, especially just watch that game against Toledo. Toledo's offense is one of the best, most efficient offenses run in the country, and they were able to slow them down and bring them back to their type of pace. Kent State only allowing 65 points per game. They're scoring 76, which is actually impressive in the MAC, seeing as they don't really run that fast at all. But where is Indiana really good? In the paint, right? Averaging their top 12 or 12th in the country in 2-point shooting. Kent State, top 20, 2-point defense. So I think that's definitely a spot that we're going to see something happen here. And Indiana doesn't make their free throws either. They're terrible on the line. So give me a little bit more on the Kent State side. I like the spread, but I will take Kent State to win this game. Give me that plus 160. I think that's definitely a spot here. And Indiana has been struggling as late.
Yeah, I know the recent, obviously, but they did lose to the hottest team that ran through that tournament in Penn State, right, who gave a lot of people good looks. They beat Purdue twice earlier in the season. They beat Xavier. Like, I know we're not loving them right now. I know that they just got kicked out, but it just seems like one of those games where, I don't know, maybe people are fishing a little much for an upset. I know you obviously know you're talking about with these Kent State kind of guys, but don't you feel like you need more than plus 160 to take a 13 over a 4? I don't know. It doesn't feel right to me.
I don't. The thing is everybody's gonna bring up the Purdue, right? That's like the perfect matchup for Indiana, like exactly perfect, because they got the bigs. They have the bigs to do it, right? Kent State. I mean, you have to guard elite guards, right? And we looked at these teams with decent guards, right? They got absolutely blown to smithereens by Iowa, 90-68. They got blown out of the gym there, so that wasn't good. And mind you, that was in Indiana. That wasn't even in Iowa. That's terrible. That's a terrible look. You can only score 68 on Iowa. Like, that is an awful look. That was down the stretch here. They got 15-pieced by Michigan State, right? All these teams with decent guards, right, are putting on a clinic on these dudes. Even that Rutgers loss earlier in the year, they got beat by 15. That's terrible. And they're relying on guards, right? They're not relying on bigs. We just saw Rutgers lose in the first round of the NIT, dude. That's a terrible look. And since I'm telling you, Sincere Carey is going to come out cooking, I'm going to look at his props. If I'm looking at props, Sincere Carey, if you're giving me 20 at plus 200, plus 250, give me that, dude. I love Sincere Carey. I love how he plays ball.
I'll tell you on that pick. I'll tell you on that pick right there. And maybe if I can parlay, I'll do Trace too as well. Maybe get both of them up there in the points. So a little bit of a disagreement right here. I'm standing firm in my Indiana pick right here. I know you know what you're talking about, but I'm not going for the upset. I'm going for the unpopular Indiana pick.
You want to take a look at a lot of the other games throughout the season where they're just absolutely just dreadful. They got 20-piece by Penn State right before they were playing good. Like this was middle of the season.
Yeah.
Right? They lost by 20 to them, right? They lost to Iowa again. Another loss to Northwestern. Oh my God, I'm taking Northwestern to lose first round in this tournament anyway. So that's another L. Like I can't back this team. It's too reliant on Trace Jackson Davis. It's like I need him to be like Edey type of dominant in a game. You know, like you need that. Mm-hmm. You need him to drop 25 for you to win this game. I don't trust the guards as much as I trust like Sincere Carey, and I trust this team because they play against these big type of dudes, right? They're playing big time guys. So obviously not as good as Trace Jackson Davis. I'm not comparing them at all, but like just to have only one other guy in double figures, like that's why Purdue is good because Edey can kick out and they have multiple guys who can shoot, multiple guys who play. And they really just don't shoot the three ball that much. So it's scary. I'll take the dog.
Sounds good. Moving on to Iowa State versus Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh, obviously, with a not very impressive showing. I don't know if you were watching that game or not. I don't think anybody came out of that game with a strong take on them. I'm moving Iowa State through right here. Very strong defensive team. I saw they're averaging like 9 steals a game, something like that. I definitely like that. I'm not sure if this is a team built for a super deep tournament run, but I'm definitely taking them over Pittsburgh in round 1.
Yeah, it worked for me. I don't really have much on this. I'm not a big fan of Pittsburgh.
That's fair. I'm good with that. Now we got Xavier versus Kennesaw State. For one, this is kind of one of those games that fills into that same kind of thing. I'm taking Xavier right here. They obviously they lost that one of their better players through injury. Fremantle, which is a little bit scary, but I don't know if that's going to haunt them in round 1. I'll take Xavier pretty confidently right here. You have any disagreements about that one?
Nope, I like Xavier. I like Xavier a lot.
Any team that's shooting 39% from 3 this season is a team that, hey, I'll take you in round 1, baby. If you're knocking down those outside shots, I'll take it.
Yeah, I really want to see them play Texas. So,
well, isn't the problem? Doesn't Texas have one of the best 3-point defenses in the nation? That's what I was reading too, right?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, when I'm looking at Xavier, dude, this is like I think they're top 5. Yeah, they're 8th in the country in offense, and they're gonna make you run. That's what I like. Right, Xavier makes teams run even if they don't want to, right? They control the tempo, and that's why I loved backing Xavier so much this year is because they will control the tempo. Marquette was an absolutely brutal matchup for them because they play the same way. They play the exact same way, and any team that doesn't run that fast, I will be taking Xavier over for sure. Really high on Xavier.
Okay, I like to hear that. We're good with moving them through.
And then you look up top, and Houston is that's a shit matchup for them because they control the pace even more than Xavier does, right? That's where it's tough.
Yeah. Interesting.
Any other one, I think I would probably have Xavier competing with them. Houston, it's tough. I can't with Houston.
That's fair. Yeah, that's fair. Okay, interesting. Maybe I'll have to. So Xavier like team totals in play with how good this offense is?
Yeah, it was just I took them against Marquette and they fucked me because Marquette plays that exact type of style. So,
Okay.
All right, you said you have a hard deadline here to get out, right?
Yeah, I got 12:20, so we got about a little bit more time, but we'll pick up the pace right here. Although Texas A&M Penn State's an interesting one. These are two teams that I've heard a lot of good things about, and I've heard a lot of people kind of say Penn State obviously had that tournament run that was very impressive. Texas A&M has been pretty strong in the SEC. I don't know who to take in this one. I've read a lot of good about both of them. Do you have a take? I've been taking Texas A&M in my tournament, in my bracket so far. Just to be clear, I know Penn State's got that tournament momentum coming in, but I've been reading a lot of good about Texas A&M.
Yeah. Oh shit, this is tough for me. I probably lean a little bit more with Texas A&M. I think they just have more guys who can do it. Obviously, you're really relying on Jalen Pickett for Penn State. Bradford, obviously on Texas A&M is a good guard. We've seen I can't remember his name, something Junior, maybe Walker Jr., something like that. Had a nice big game in one of those games. It was just Bama was playing at too high of a level for them there. So I would lean Texas A&M, but no bet for me.
All right, and then Colgate, Texas I'm taking Texas.
Colgate. I just thought we were skipping that one.
Oh,
I'll just skip through Kansas here, and we'll go right to this one there.
Okay.
I mean, we could talk. We're just gonna waste our breath on that.
No, I agree with you. I'm not taking any 1s over 16s or anything like that. Arkansas, Illinois. This is a tough game for me. I wrote about this game. I took Illinois plus 2.5 for a small amount. I don't love that as much. What I like the most, I took first half under 67.5 in this game. We got some pretty strong defensive teams. Obviously, Arkansas, what concerns me is it's kind of a youth versus more battle-tested team. Obviously, Illinois does have the 2 transfers coming in with heavy March Madness experience, while Arkansas is relying on a bunch of young guards in this one. At the end of the day, I did take Illinois, but I'm really going back and forth. I like the under more. I think this is going to be a very, very competitive game. I know Illinois is great. I believe they're 5-1 against the spread when they're 2.5-point dogs or more so far this season, which definitely gave me some confidence that they do kind of show up when ththey're underdogs. So I took Illinois, but it's very close. I like the under more. Do you have a strong take?
I like Arkansas in this game. I just have seen way too many bad performances from the Illinois side this year. Yeah. I don't trust any of them to go get a bucket. I mean, Terrence Shannon is nice. Mm-hmm. But I mean, who else is doing it? Right? Matthew Mayer needs you to make him get a shot, right? He doesn't create his own shot. Arkansas is very, very good at defending the 3-point ball. And Illinois is terrible at shooting threes already. They're very good at guarding the 2. Illinois are average. They're average at 2-point field goal percentage. Terrible, terrible free throw shooting team. For both sides. So, I think the under is a good look, but it's just going to come down to paint. Who can win the paint? And I'm going to rely on Arkansas there because we're looking at Illinois here. Who's scoring in the paint for them? Coleman Hawkins. I've watched that boy play a few times. No chance.
Well, I'll just say the length kind of concerned me. Illinois is not running out a starter smaller than 6'6". This is a big, long team out there. And Arkansas, I don't know if you were reading or if you saw this, Arkansas was switching to a small ball lineup that was really getting them through some of these later season games, and that's what they're more comfortable with. I mean, the size advantage is going to be kind of massive right here. It's going to be a close game. Like I said, I like the under more, but I did give the slight edge in Illinois as an underdog right here. But I'm actually really just excited to watch this. I think it's going to be a really competitive game.
Yeah, what I'm looking at here, though, is Illinois is a top 100 pace team, something I did not expect to see. Mm-hmm. But then we go up to Arkansas, they're a top 50 pace team. If we're running, who do you want on a court?
Yeah.
You want guards. You want guards who can shoot. You got guards who could run. You got guards who could play 35 minutes plus, right? We're looking on the year. Matthew Mayer is our second leading scorer. He plays 26 minutes. Mm-hmm. This boy can't even stay on the court. He can't run that much, right? You got Coleman Hawkins playing 32 minutes. Like you're going to just hype him up to 38 minutes. That's a huge bump, dude. And I've seen way too many terrible, terrible games performed by Illinois, even in like bigger games for them. But I like Terrence Shannon. That would be maybe a prop guy. I'd look at the dude's made me some money this year, but I can't bet him.
Yeah, no, I agree with the Shannon look for props. The final thing I'll just say before we move on is what Illinois 23rd in the nation rebounds, 43rd in the nation in offensive rebounds, while Arkansas is outside of the top 150 in both of those categories. Just enough small things in this game to give me the slight edge. I think it's down to 1.5 though. I wrote it up.
It is, it's 1.5. I mean, Arkansas is top 100 defensive rebound team.
That's not what I have. I have 143 in front of me.
They're 87th on defensive rebounds per game there. So.
I don't know. I have a different thing in front of me, but interesting.
What site do you use?
I just pulled it from the Ken Palm adjusted rankings or whatever. Is that what you have too?
No, I use Ken Palm for other stuff. I use a different 2 or 3 other different sites that I use for college stuff.
Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Oh, we're gonna have to argue about this one too. Damn, I'm trying to speed up right here. I took St. Mary's in this game. Not only did I take them in my brackets, I bet them at -3.5 right here. I know you do not agree with me right here. VCU, I'm not liking. I watched their tournament game. They impressed me, but you're not good. They want to get those steals. They want to play great defense. St. Mary's doesn't turn the ball over. St. Mary's a great rebounding team. I think it's going to be a close game. I think St. Mary's wins. I would be happy if VCU wins. Well, not anymore. I bet a decent amount on St. Mary's, but I'm taking St. Mary's. I know you disagree, but
I mean, I if I'm getting I'm getting 5 points. I'm taking VCU. I don't know if they win. I don't have VCU money line or anything. So I think I took St. Mary's in my bracket, but I took VCU to cover.
Gotcha. Yeah, I have +3.5. I know it's 4.5. It's been all over the place. I would say make sure you're line shopping too if you're not over on Pickett Sports. I've been using that a lot. Every book is hanging different lines based on their futures exposure and stuff like that. But I did bet on St. Mary's right here, and I feel pretty solid about that. Also, UConn Iona. Iona is a team that's getting some underdog love right here. Iona, obviously, the coaching, Pitino, people kind of recognize that name, and especially a lot of casual people that maybe aren't watching will just be kind of clicking them through because of that. I've been taking UConn in all my brackets, and yeah, I feel pretty good about UConn. Do you have any thoughts on this one?
UConn by 20.
What's the spread then? Is it 10? I believe something like that.
No idea, but I didn't even get to this region on the thing there. They're 9.5. I'll be taking UConn 9.5.
Okay. I
haven't even posted that. I haven't even thought about it. Now I'm just like, oh, why would I even not bet this? Why would I not bet it? That's Sanogo might drop 20 and 20 in this game.
Hey, I'm with you right here. I'll be tailing you if you're that confident. Obviously, I kind of like fading the popular coach thing too as well. I think that's
Patino's done after this year anyway, dude. He doesn't give a shit.
Yeah, well, not if he can't drive his way to St. Joseph, apparently. I don't know if you saw that or not, but that's very funny. Okay, moving on right here. We got the TCU versus we don't know yet. I will say I do have a bet on Arizona State in tonight's game. I also have another bet that I like a little bit even more on the total. You can find that in my article over at the game day. I don't know. I don't think I like Arizona State. I'm impressed. I think it'll be a fun game, but I'm not going to be taking them to get the upset. So I think I'm good to keep it moving right here.
All right, Gonzaga, Grand Canyon.
I did make a Gonzaga future a little bit earlier. I don't have the exact odds up in front of me, but that being said, I will be taking Gonzaga to keep moving right here.
I think I have them losing in the Elite Eight, I think.
Let's see. Let me check what my future is. I got to check what the number is right here. I took Gonzaga to make the Elite Eight at +210. So just to make it, not even to win. I like the value right there. And then to be completely honest, although I have heard some people on Grand Canyon spread, just to be clear, I have heard a couple smart people.
It's going to be way too fast. The pace is going to be way too fast. I will not bet a dog in a pace game like that. It's going to be played at such an elite pace that I don't even like. When you look at spreads like double digits, I want the slow game like that. I want it like a 140, 145 total. When you get up to 150s, it could take 2 minutes for them to get to that spread, right? When that pace is going that fast, possessions are moving that quick. I mean, you could try to slow down Gonzaga, but that's going to be a lot easier said than done here.
Gotcha. Okay, that's actually a good tidbit right there. I will not be looking at the Grand Canyon spread, like I said.
Maybe you take the over. I mean, I don't mind the over, but
true. Yeah, team total maybe. Okay, I've seen a lot of talk about this game. I have absolutely no take on Northwestern versus Boise State. I've seen a lot of people on this. I don't really know what to think of it. I know there's some injury stuff. Do you have a take here or no?
All right, let me check the spread first.
It's close. I got it.
Bro, I gotta take. If you're giving me Boise at plus money, I'm taking Boise at plus money.
It's good enough for me. I need some guidance. So if you're telling me to take Boise on in my brackets, then that's what I will be doing right here.
Max Rice, Degenhart. I don't think that Northwestern's going to have enough size to mess with Degenhart. As much as and how ugly as he plays, the dude finds a way to get the job done. Mm-hmm. Boo Booey has been very good, obviously, but Boise State, good defensive team. They go through a lot of lulls, but I'm not a huge fan of this Northwestern defense. They're very good against the 2-point ball, but I'm not worried about that, right? They're good at the guarding the paint. You better guard that 3-point line against Boise, right? And they're very, very, very good at offensive rebounding on the Boise State side. Boise State defense top 50 in points per game allowed, field goal, 2-point field goal percentage, and 3-point percentage allowed. Northwestern bottom 75 in points per game, bottom 20 in 2-point percentage and bottom 75 in 3-point percentage. So I didn't even think about it. Boise State is about to get sent out right now.
Okay, hell yeah. I like that confidence. I would go put that wager in as well. And for me, I know we have some disagreements. It doesn't matter who won that game because I'm taking UCLA, baby. Got that 15-1 future a little bit before the tournament started.
You took Gonzaga Elite 8, but you took UCLA.
Okay,
that's a weird bet, dog. You're just hedging yourself for what?
The thing is, pretty much. I took 15-1 before the tournament started, before I did any research. Now, once I saw that the UCLA injuries were actually a pretty big deal, Tiger Campbell playing great right now, but how long can we really expect that to sustain through this tournament? I started getting a little bit worried. I was kind of hedging on myself a little bit right there, and I've been reading some good stuff about that Zaga offense. So I did take, obviously, UCLA over Asheville. Yeah, I don't think there's any debate there. But, yeah, I'm a little bit worried about my future. So that's why I did that.
I was going to say, I'm like, did you just forget that you just told me that or what?
No.
No. All right. Well, that is everything. Stu, if you had if you got something for the people here, I know you got a hard deadline here. And I want to get you out of here. So what is the last thing you got for the people, right? We're a little bit over an hour. This is longer than our usual show. I just want to make sure we get something here to finish them off here.
Yeah, no, I'll say I made a bracket for the Pass the Prop audience around here. So we'll be posting that in the comments right here. I'll be posting in my Discord, and I'm sure you'll be posting it in your Telegram as well. Just to get the whole community, I'll put $50 up top. Low stakes. Obviously, I'm not going to make you guys pay in. I just want to beat you guys. I want to have that bragging rights. I know I'm not the pro here. I know you are. I want to beat you. I want to win this. I'm a very competitive person. So I'm going to be trying pretty hard. I'm excited. I want to win my own money, so I don't have to give anybody any money. And yeah, I'll be having some breakdowns over on the game day as well. I already have that Arizona State one up for tonight. You can go check that out on my page right now. Tons of stuff coming. I also want to make sure to shout out your videos. They've been very informative. I want to go give everyone to give some support to those because they're definitely much more compact and a lot of great info over there as well.
Well, I appreciate that. One thing I will say, I'm talking about these first half. If we're backing dogs, dude, you want to back the dogs to cover the first half, dude. The dogs will cover the first half because they're going to come out, and then the talent takes over. So as much as I love this, I would take the up. I would ladder that full game. I would be laddering the full game, not the first half, because you always see it too, where the dogs just jump out to that early lead, and I just live bet the shit out of them.
Yeah,
so I live bet the shit out of the favorite. So happens a lot over the last couple of tournaments. It's been something that's been profitable for me. So just something for you guys to think about there, because these dogs are hyped up, man. This is a huge game for them. This is huge, right? So you usually see them come out faster, but talent usually ends up winning those. So, yeah, I appreciate the plug there for me. Hoping I can finish those up. I'm not sure if I'm going to have all the rest of them. I only did 2 because those are a little more time-consuming than these to get over with. So, but yeah, I'll have plays out. I'm pretty sure I already put in 5 plays on those videos already. Probably gonna start doing props now. I'm gonna be sending those out to Telegram as well. So it's gonna be fun. It's gonna be fun, and I'm excited to get after it. We'll have to talk about what the news is for Friday's show, because I probably will not be available on Friday, but we can figure out something there to do.
Yeah, no, sounds good. Sounds good. A lot to look forward to at the tournament. We will have you guys covered with plenty of bets. Excited to see how this first round goes.
Yeah, if anybody's in the Chicago area, I'll be down there Friday all day, pretty much. I'll be down there watching at the book down there. So should be fun. Got the full day off. I'm ready to go.
Oh, yeah.
All right, guys. Appreciate you popping in. I know it's a little bit longer, but we appreciate all 25 of you guys still here with us for an hour, 10 minutes past. So have a good one. Best of luck. And again, if you got any questions, hit the DMs up. So have a good one, guys.